All right, everybody, welcome to another TV review on the final credits. Today, we're reviewing the recent Peacock TV show adaptation of the classic PS1 game, Twisted Metal. All right, so Twisted Metal on Peacock. We watched season one. We have some people here that are fans. Some of us aren't fans of the original game, but the TV show was its own thing, I would say. So I'm just going to say outright, overall, I liked it. I was entertained by it. There were some things that it was lacking in. There were some things that, my memories of playing the original game as a kid, it either was there or it wasn't there when it comes to like the small details and references they might have put through. But overall, it was good. I'm looking forward to a season 2 because there is definitely a season 2 on its way. What about you guys? What did you guys think?
I think it was great. I think it was awesome. Anthony Mackie's comedic timing is impeccable in this.
And yeah, it was funny.
This had nothing to do with the video game. This was Mad Max in the US.
It's funny you bring that up, Mad Max, but I'll get to that in a second. But BigGrim, you're shaking your head a lot there. What do we got from you?
His comedic timing was impeccable.
Impeccable.
I must have definitely cut out because I know you meant impeccably bad.
No way.
Listen. His parts, I felt some of them were the weakest in this.
Really?
Like, the chemistry that I felt like him and Stephanie Beatrice had was okay. It was a little forced in certain parts, yes, but you had some moments where I thought he was crazier than Sweet Tooth, which is like how he had his very super serious moments and then just like turned on a freaking dime. I thought he was playing Deadpool for a second, but I'm not here to criticize that because it wasn't a complete low point for this. I do agree with you guys. I do think that this was actually a pretty good first season going out. Can't wait to see the second season. But overall, oh, my boy, Sweet Tooth. This man stole the show.
Yes, absolutely.
For me, so enjoyable, so messed up, so funny. I thought it was so great overall. My favorite show of the year after The Last of Us. I thought it was
wow, and that's something. But go on, go on.
Well,
see, what happened? He failed to tell you that these are the only 2 shows he saw this year.
Well, I saw
because the Secret Invasion does not count. It doesn't count. I can agree with that.
Watch our other videos on Secret Invasion. Anyway, back to something twisted that was actually good, not Secret Invasion. So I wish I played the games back in the day, but and I knew more of the lore, but I liked it as a dark comedy, apocalyptica thing. It reminded me of so many things. So like it reminded me of a lighter version of Last of Us, like the world coming to an end.
I thought about that too.
Now, yes, I know before I get attacked in the comics, Twisted Metal came out way before Last of Us was ever a thing. But so the things it reminded me of, but a good mix. So Mad Max, Last of Us, the humor from Zombieland, because the writers from those movies developed the show. A little bit of Deadpool thrown in there. Fast and the Furious with the car aspect, but it wasn't well done. But I like the fact that they use a virus that wiped out all the electronics, including the computer. So you still saw that, like
it was Y2K.
But you still saw the same elements of like how humanity gets sick, government overlords, cities getting shut down, factions, people being sick with like collecting human parts as slavery. We'll dive more into that, but it was a great show for me overall.
Yeah, well, and you bring up those points too, Pancakes. Like I agree with you, but I think that was also like to me the weak part of the show is that it was all of those things light. Like it was Mad Max light. It was Last of Us light. Like I felt like you watch any of those things, it has all those aspects that does better than this show. My biggest complaint about this show is just like I wanted more car fights. Like we had maybe in the second to last episode, I think, or no, the beginning of the last episode was like the big car fight that we were all waiting for, and we got like maybe one or two like short battles and like a few of the episodes in between.
That's what annoyed me. This game was about cars destroying everything else, and we only got like 3 full minutes of action of that.
So
I
kind of think about this like in the same sense that like you guys remember the movie Doom a couple years back with Dwayne Johnson?
Oh yeah.
So but before we get into the bad parts of that, we had maybe a 2 or 3 minute part of it where it actually went into first person shooter mode with Carl Urban, and that part for all 2 or 3 minutes of it was phenomenal. It was great. We were kind of hoping that we were going to get an entire movie pretty much on that because that was shown in the trailer. And I feel like with certain video game projects, if we just include like one part of the overall game, people are going to eat it up. They're going to love it. With this, you had to wait till the season finale to get to actually like watching the game being played. Like,
right. And like that. The thing is, like, I get like Twisted Metal as a game is very not like one dimensional, but like there's no real story to it. And if you're gonna put something as a TV show,
war. There's lots of war.
In the sequels, like they built it up, I'm sure, but like the original, like really wasn't that much going on.
Well,
so like, if they based a lot of it off of that, and
so the idea of the original series was that if you win Twisted Metal, Calypso gives you your wish, whatever your wish is. So Calypso was barely in this to begin with.
I was gonna say, but she disappeared after the first episode.
Voice box.
Yeah, but she came back in the last episode. But I felt like it wasn't even about that. It was just about the relationship between John Doe and Quiet, which actually I will say was probably the strong point. I felt like I was the most invested in that part of the show. And in the beginking, it was predictable where they were going with the two of them. I was like, they're going to be
the first 3 episodes with them.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. It was very predictable. It was very like, okay, like they hate each other now, but they're gonna love each other in about like 2 or 3 episodes, and sure enough, that's what happened. But then I feel like once they got into their backstories about like what they're doing, like like why they're doing what they're doing, like how they like even why they're acting the way they're acting, it made sense as to like why their relationship worked, I guess. So you became more invested that way. At least I did. But I felt like because they had to make a story for a TV show, so I feel like they had to focus on stuff like that, but they went a little too far in that direction, and they didn't leave enough room, for like Twisted Metal fans to enjoy like those sweet car fights that we kind of like most of us came to the show expecting. So I think like I said, season 2 is definitely on its way, but I hope the way they left off season 1, I think there will be a lot more car fights in season 2. But
once again, you're saying a kind of meaningless love story got in the way of what we really wanted.
At first, it did. Yes, at first it did. But like I said, as the season progressed, I felt myself becoming more invested in it, and it did tie into the story with their backstories and everything. And then ultimately you're right, because the end of the last episode, things came back to Calypso and everything. Like they had the discussion between just her and John Doe, and Quiet is on her own and everything, and and she runs into John Doe's sister, and she's part of that sect whose name I am not remembering at the moment, but fans of the game will know like exactly who they are. So it's they kind of shifted from love story to twisted love story to the actual content of the game itself, like at the very last minute. So again, season 2, I would hope to see like more balancing acts be done with its story and references to the game itself.
What did you guys think of Thomas Hayden Church as the sheriff?
Oh, Sandman was fine. Sandman was fine.
He was great.
As the main villain, I thought he was he did a hell of a job. He made you hate him. I mean, they tried to make him sympathetic with his throwback, but at the end of the day, he was still a fucking piece of shit. That the law, my way, but he was very good in the role. But the combined performance of Samoa Joe and Will Arnett as Sweet Tooth was good. Now
the show.
Now Will Arnett did a hell of a job with the voice on it to add to it. But to be a little biased and being a fan of Samoa Joe from the pro wrestling world, like Grim and I are, if you hear his promo work, how he speaks, the guy's a hell of a talker. So selfishly, I kind of wish I heard his voice acting out Sweet Tooth, since he was the physical portrayal of the character. And according to an interview I saw with Anthony Mackie, Joe still, said all the lines that we heard eventually in the show. So I kind of wish that we
release the Samoa cut.
I was just going to say that. I was waiting for you to finish so I could say hashtag release the Samoa cut.
Now that's a cut I want.
For sure.
But Joe, a real life gamer himself and a fan of the franchise, really embraced the role, and he was just so awesome in it. Anytime he was on screen, and he was the main drawing point of the whole season.
I think he was probably the most game accurate character on the show by far.
Well, yeah, because everybody else was like an amalgamation of other characters. Like, for instance, Anthony Mackie's character was he supposed to be Axel? Is he somebody new? Like, you don't know that the characters are all swapped up. But I do tell you one thing about the characters. I am very upset that Mr. Grimm was not in that show.
Yeah. Agreed.
And anybody who's played the video game knows that Mr. Grimm is the one on the motorcycle.
Not this.
No, not Big Grim. Mr. Grimm.
Maybe they're saving him for season 2. I mean, we ended on a cliffhanger. We're getting set up for the big race. We saw how.
Did you guys see the post-credit scene?
No. Ooh.
Yes.
I gotta watch that now. I thought it was good. I just figured like we don't get post-credit scenes with like most TV shows, so I was like, okay,
it's done. There's a post-credit scene, and it's bloody funny.
Okay. Well, apologies for not catching that before finishing.
I mean, I can tell you what it is, but it's
funny. You know what?
You know what? All right, fine.
Let's do it.
Okay, fine. Okay, so basically at the end, crap, what are their names? The black dude and the white dude that were the security guards, and then they swapped over, and you know what I'm talking about?
Stu and Michael?
Oh, yes.
Stu and Michael. Yeah. Okay. So those two at the end of the show are sitting down in front of a campfire with their girlfriends. And then they're like, oh, this is the life, blah, blah, blah. This is great. We're all happy and giddy. And Sweet Tooth shows up out of nowhere and drags
Stu.
Stu is the tall, fat one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it drags him away after he chopped off something.
I kind of enjoyed. I kind of wish we got a little more of their arc. Their interactions were entertaining. What they were so confused and conflicted, what side they were on. They're friends again, turning on each other. They have the chance to pull the trigger on one another, but they deep down they give a shit about each other because they've been childhood friends. So
now, see, you're making me, because I actually didn't like them that much. Like, not that I didn't like them, but they kind of just like annoy me. But the way you're describing them is making me realize why, and it's because they're basically another John Doe and Quiet. They have that same exact relationship.
Kind of.
So it's like they were redundant, I guess, to me. But they have the same humor too.
Made out.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. That you made me realize I had an epiphany there. So maybe
actually,
they'll do better with their
those two actually have more chemistry than I think John Doe and Quiet. Just saying.
I will give you a high five, sir. I agree with you 110%.
I disagree. I thought Anthony Mackie and Stephanie Patrice's chemistry, it took a little time to grow over it. But
it took 3 days.
3 episodes.
3 days for them to get. Let me tell you something. I wanted to get back to this. I was screaming at my TV. No, don't fuck. It's been 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, wait. First of all, in a ball pit, which is like the most,
which is
the
disgusting.
grossest place you could probably do it.
Most unhygienic.
Yeah, but hey, he had a condom at least. He had protection.
Oh
but
my god!
For himself, there's no protection for her. It doesn't matter. Oh man, yeah, that was an awkward scene. That was definitely like, oh man, I wasn't expecting that soon. Even Disney movies look at that and be like, wow, that's really soon.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. At least we wait until from kid to adult, a 16-year-old adult, we wait a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the reveal when we finally see what was in the package that John was desperately trying to get back to San Francisco, and this whole time it was just freaking Rocky Road Ice.
The red herring.
Yes, it was stupid, but at the end of the day, though, that's something that you don't have every day. You can't just go to the store and say, hey, can I get a pint of Rocky Road? You have to find somebody who has it and then call a milkman to go pick it up for you.
At the end of the day, that does kind of make sense, at least for John Doe, because exactly like Spade just said, he's a milkman. He picks things up and he delivers them. It doesn't like the value of one item to one person could be like meaningless. It is literally one man's trash is another man's treasure. That's exactly what this is right here. And for some, you go through hell for Rocky Road.
He's like a bouncy hunter DoorDash, essentially.
It was also an example of the powerful, how much of a stranglehold Nerve Campbell's character has on San Francisco and the other heads of the city, how they can use the people below them and play them like puppets, and how she played John Doe and, set up everything, the date, the people laughing at his jokes at the bar. So she was pulling the strings, and it's not to that final episode that we see that it's just one giant chess game to use these people below them. So that in the grand scheme of things, that we're going to see the tournament. But it was an example to show how much of a power control they control these people ever since everything went to shit when the virus wiped out the internet, the computers, like electronics, and so on.
Yeah, and I love the fact that they even got Neve Campbell for it. I was like, oh wow,
she's awesome.
Yeah,
she
I was like, what?
Awesome.
And she was like just from like being in the Scream movies, I was like, this is the perfect show to like put her in, like just from like the type of like dark humor and everything. Like it was actually like I was like, she was probably like one of the best castings, even though I feel like she was very underused in like
absolutely.
Like we mentioned before, she's kind of gone and comes back for a hot second at the end. But yeah, no, I want to see more of her next season for sure because she was great.
And you know what? I like the fact that she was playing a villain, right?
Yeah, yeah. She's not the helpless, not helpless, but like she wasn't the victim this time around. She's the one, calling the shots.
She's the one victimizing.
She's the one, causing victims. Yeah.
So she's making victims.
Like Agent Stone was the main villain that everyone had to deal with, but she's like the bigger, long-term
she's like the kingpin
boss. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So really cool. Like I said, I want to see more for next season. But yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts before we close this off? I think we hit all the right notes here.
I think everyone should watch this because I think it's the show of 2023 that's not The Last of Us.
There is something else I would actually like to bring up, though, that shockingly Johnny has not brought up at all. Can we talk about the soundtrack?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It
my apologies.
Slapped from episode 1 all the way to season finale.
Yeah, and I was going to mention it before because I knew that there's like other Twisted Metal games and stuff, but like I just felt like they were just going straight after the first game only because of like the clear, like 90s references that they were just like throwing in and like I have a newfound respect for like Bop the song.
Yeah.
What a badass song that became after this show to me, man. Like that was like one of the top scenes where he just like comes in like with that song blasting. I was like, that's just great. This is freaking awesome. But,
so it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm thinking the complete opposite of this is the perfect point to put My Immortal from Evanescence in here for the funeral of a car.
Yes.
And I couldn't stop laughing. It was perfect. It was great.
Yeah, no, that was funny too.
Or Sweet Tooth's love for the Dong song, and she gets
Oh
John
yeah,
Oates.
my
Yeah, that's
God.
shit.
I haven't heard that song in 30 years, and then all of a sudden, I'm like,
Mhm.
what? This is the song that they used. Okay.
Yep. This is
Yeah.
the song that they bond over.
Yeah, honestly, like it
Oh.
was scenes like that that made me forget for a while that like I want to see car fights because I was just like scenes like that was just so entertaining that it kind of like made the moment anyway.
And I kind of like I also kind of like how they did the flashback just to explain the origin story of each of the main characters. For John Doe, Quiet, her brother, Agent Stone, like how and Sweet Tooth, of course. He had the saddest arc to where he got because the psychological breakdown since he was a kid. That was
that poor
that was
dog,
really
though. That poor dog.
Listen,
sad for the dog.
That I'm not gonna speak about anything, but that Sweet Tooth throwback, that was didn't see that one coming.
No. It took me like a moment, like a while to even realize that they were talking about him. And I was like, holy crap, this is sweet. Like the moment he started like going ham, I was like, oh, this is fucking
no. I saw it the second that he got from his chair and there was a brown paper bag still there. I'm like, oh, we're not doing it.
Yeah,
good point. Yeah, but see, that's what I was talking about before. Like the show had to be a TV show and like give those stories, even though that's nothing that we ever saw in the games. But I think for the most part, they worked. You know, I think it just added to the investment, in my opinion.
if this was a movie, it would have sucked horribly.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Oh, God.
Without a doubt. Without a dought. I think it was much better as a streaming show on Peacock. You just watch for dumb fun. And that I think that's just like what the show is. It's just a lot like dumb black comedy humor, dumb fun. Just, you know, watch it. Don't go into it being like, you know, if you're a hardcore Twisted Metal fan, you know, you might be disappointed in some aspects, but like just it's a fun show to watch, whether or not you're a fan. I think it's a good summer show for sure.
Yep.
And with that, there's nothing else. Those are our thoughts. Peacock, watch it now. Streaming the full season. Twisted Metal. What do you guys think? Let us know down in the comments. Did you hate it? Are you a fan of the original game? Were you disappointed by it? Did you love it anyway? Let us know down there. And while you're down there, ring that bell, subscribe to us, give us a like. We love all that stuff. Until next time, final credits. We out.
Roll credits.